Yeah, definitely. So that leads us right to question number 2 here. I'll go and throw that one on the screen. So question number 2 is, why are morals, values, and duties not the same as preferences like our favorite ice cream flavor or a preferred color, as they both seem to be things that merely exist in our minds? So this kind of goes to the idea of they're subjective. My favorite ice cream is chocolate chip cookie dough. My favorite color is blue, even though I tend to wear green a lot and have green eyes. So what makes these types of things different in kind, in nature, in ontology, than things like morals, values, and duties?
Yeah, that's a great question, Tim. You know, when we think about moral values and duties, and then we juxtapose our preference for chocolate over strawberry ice cream, we have to realize the consequences of such a decision, right? Like I would say, in some ways, people act as if morals, values, and duties are, just like our tastes and appetites for certain ice cream flavors. But just because we act that way doesn't make it that way. So when it comes to ice cream, yeah, we do have these subjective taste buds that fit to us, but it's still objective to me that I objectively like chocolate ice cream more than I like, say, strawberry ice cream. That is still a true statement. But we have some variety as it relates to an ice cream shop. We go to TCBY Yogurt, for example. We go in and we did our little taste cups, and we try out different flavors, and we go ahead and fill our cup up with the flavor that we like, and we discard the flavors that we don't. Well, we can't approach morality that way. We can't approach the Bible that way. I like these qualities of God, and so these will be in, and I don't like these qualities, typically as it relates to what he's going to say about my sex life and judgment, and these are out. Because what we're doing there is now we're creating God in our own image, and that's not the way it works. So these values and these duties, these that we have out there, morality, so to speak, it's not like ice cream. For example, if we were to take the vast majority of the population and we saw some man, say in his mid-50s, go and take a baby out of a mother's arms and then proceed to physically rape the baby, I think that we would realize that that's not all that practical to get into a discussion in that moment of, well, you know what, it's like ice cream. One person likes strawberry, another likes chocolate. One is very consequential. It's no consequence to me, Tim. If you prefer strawberry over chocolate, I might want to argue with you why I like chocolate more, but I'm not going to change your taste buds. But at the end of the day, when it comes to something like, why is this 55-year-old starting to rape this infant, and we're sitting around having a discussion of, well, is that no more of a big deal than me liking strawberry over chocolate or chocolate over strawberry? I think that we intuitively are aware of that, right? It's intuitively obvious. The person who does not acknowledge the obviousness of that, I think, is widely, in his own little camp with philosophers who are just dancing around a subject in a way that just seems ludicrous. I mean, it is obvious that it is objectively wrong for a 55-year-old to take a mother's infant and begin to physically rape it. So we realize then that there is this sense of objective wrong and right. And why is that we recognize that? And I would say it's because we are built with a sense of right and wrong, that we were created this way by God, who made us in his image, and we are image bearers. And when we recognize things that whereby people aren't reflecting God's moral values, that we recognize that that's off and that is wrong. Now, here's the deal. There are certain values. So I took an extreme example. There are some values that it's not as clear in duties. So there are certain duties that we might have in one culture that doesn't go over in another culture. And that can be where some of the confusion kicks in for people. So I would want to say, I don't have to commit myself to a long list of moral values All I have to do is be able to say, if there's at least one moral value that's objective, then how am I going to account for that? And why is that there? And I want to be able to say that we can ground that in God.
Now, it may seem like what you're saying is that because you have a certain intuition about something, that therefore we know that it's true. But we can point to lots of things that may be intuitive, but they're wrong. Things like it seems like the Earth is flat intuitively, but we know that that's completely incorrect. We have other evidences that demonstrate that the Earth is round. There's other things like the intuitive nature of the big being exactly like the small, but we know that there's many differences and limitations on the quantum realm and the teeny, 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 tiny and the very, very, very large realm. So clarify that as best you can. Intuition doesn't automatically mean that it's true. Intuition would be what in that case?
Well, I mean, there's just some things like, see, I can't prove that I'm not, a brain in a vat being stimulated by some mad scientist to make me think that I'm 47 years old and I'm currently engaging in a conversation about objective versus subjective morality with Tim Hull because I was pre-programmed that way. I can't prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt, right? But it was like the whole area that Descartes, right? Ergo cogito sum, I think, therefore I am. And he set out to kind of, he starts doubting everything. And then the one thing he realized he can't doubt is his own existence, the fact that he's thinking, right? He even thought about this evil demon. There's this evil demon that is just, deceived me into thinking the way that I do. And so I would say there are some things you can't just necessarily, prove, but I think that it seems far more obvious than the alternative, that there are some things that are objectively right and wrong. And so intuition doesn't automatically make something true just because you intuit something. Nevertheless, we are intuitive beings, right? And so we have to pay attention to our intuitions, our feelings, our instincts, our thoughts. All of this is very, very important. And so I think that when it comes to something like that idea, are we going to say that, no, that's not really objectively wrong for somebody to take an infant out of a mother's arms and physically rape it? Well, I mean, you might say it, but everything in your body is shouting that you've been duped. You're not speaking correctly here. Your feelings are sickened by it, unless you're some kind of a corrupt pedophile yourself. I think that it's painfully clear.